Welcome to Basis 74, Part 1. This is a phone call. It's a targeted individual who's called in, and he's got some very important things to say. Now, right now, we've been trying to call him again to do the formal interview. So what we're doing is we're going to run with the initial crash record of this phone call via Skype from the United States. This is a targeted individual using the Monarch and MK Ultra programs. He's not very happy, and he's done some very important things, and he's been to some very important places, such as Area 51. He's protected President-elect, who subsequently became President Obama, from an assassination ordered by President Bush Jr., who went rogue and out of control. This and more. The Area 51 clones, horrendous and terrible things. War with Britain, Australia, New Zealand, China being given the United States because of debt reasons. Lots of things being said. He has asked to be challenged on this. I've asked John Irwin to do that, and we'll see if we get a second chance to do that. Right now, I'm putting this edit together. He says it's very probable that I could be singled out for assassination myself. Well, they've been trying that since I've been 5. Real issues, or is this just imagination and a fanciful TI who wants some attention, or is it the real deal? We'll see if that's the case. Basis 74, Part 1. Roll tape. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, yeah.
All right. Well, and in '93 they took me to Edwards, and I told them how to use the radiator with outer space. All right. They made it happen. They all achieved Mach 17.2. Now, do you remember when Clinton sent the 7th Fleet over to China or to Taiwan when China was threatening in 2000, when China threatened to attack Taiwan? And China said, if you mess with us, we'll nuke LA. Remember that?
Actually, no, I don't. But tell us.
Actually, it happened. And it was in 2000. 2000, China was threatening Taiwan. Clinton sent over the 7th Fleet. And China said, if you mess with us, we'll nuke LA. 2 days later, there was a massive earthquake, southeastern China by the sea, where a huge chemical weapons plant turned into a huge crater during seismic movement. What is that? 2 thermonuclear bunker busters were dropped from the BSR-73 at Mach 17.2 at 356,000-foot altitude, went about a mile underground before detonation. How do I know this? Because I was the guy that came up with the power plant. I took it off, flew it. I was in the co-pilot seat, left-hand side. I took it off, pulled the trigger, and landed it. And if you want to verify this, you verify with anybody that was in the Air Force. They will say we were at levels of DEFCON 2 when this earthquake took place. All right. Well, in September of '06, I thought of this power plant. I thought about it for a week, and I figured out how to make it go faster. I emailed Dr. Sugar, CEO of Northrop Grumman, and I said, let's make a deal. His formula, let's make a deal, was gas my house, sedative antidote, and sodium pentothal, and I figured out the 6 missing links for the X-83. And the X-83... That's fine.
Can you say who you are again, like you just...
These are who I am. Force Recon Lieutenant General Boyle T. Browning, Delta Force Brigadier General Eugene B. Colson, SEAL Captain Eugene B. Colson, Ranger General Lindsey Thompson, Green Beret General James T. Wheeler, and Air Force Flight Commander Hal Philip Tompkins. And I wrote the classified book, Advanced Fighter Tactics, under Tompkins. And I wrote 3 editions of the classified book, Advanced Infantry Tactics, under General Boyle T. Browning. I am the top of the food chain when it comes to MK Ultra and Operation Monarch. I am a victim. I get no benefits, no retirement. They have tried to kill me hundreds of times. I'm still alive, and I'll give God the credit above. Any questions? Any questions, sir?
Well, let's take it away. Where did you start? How did you get going? And why are you not getting those?
I was born into this shit. When I was 5 years old, I moved into a neighborhood where then Captain Creel Helton, who was the Sergeant Creel Helton in the Korean War, went out with a knife all night long. In the baddest of the bad in Korean War, went out and acted like Creel Helton. He moved into my neighborhood in 1962 when I was 5 years old. He started training me when I was 5 years old. And I spent my junior high and high school years in Vietnam on Thanksgiving and Christmas vacation in Vietnam doing missions. Have you ever heard of Bunker Hill, Vietnam, 12/23/73? Have you ever heard of that mission?
May have, but for the purposes of the recording, tell us.
One man with conviction took out the NBA Special Ops Company by himself. Have you heard of that?
Nope. Tell us.
That was me. I was 16 years old. That was my junior year Christmas vacation in high school. The stuff that I did was incredible. And the reason I'm alive today is God above. God protected me on every mission. And they knew that. So they put me in front and the center. And it wasn't very long after they put me in front and the center that I was leading all the missions. Because these guys are a bunch of devil worshipers. And what could they do more than pick somebody that God protects to lead their missions and to make it victorious? And that's what they did. My main weapon was a Remington M16 long rifle, series 1 through 8.3. I conceptually designed the 9,800 meter sniper round. That's 6.5 miles. The longest shot that I remember taking was 3,150 meters, and that was the head of the Mexican Mafia in Yucatan in 95. And I'm the guy that took out Pablo Escobar in 95 when he got into counterfeiting. That's why they changed the money. I'm the guy that took out, well, he wasn't taken out, but he was sliced and diced. Joseph Mengele in December of 77 on the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs mission. Taking out seven lesser drug lords and consolidating 5 under Pablo Escobar, called Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, under the CIA, under the Colombian drug network. Any questions, sir? Anything you ask me, I will tell you. I've been to Area 51. I've seen this shit that they make there.
Okay, what shit do they make at Area 51?
Grays, the Nephilim and all that, they're made. They don't grow and they cannot reproduce. It's pre-flood man technology.
Okay, explain that.
What do you want to know?
How are they made? Where do they?
Well, they take clone children, little girls. It's horrendous. It's fucking horrendous. They take 15-year-old clone girls. They have to come up with one fetus to replace themselves. And they got God's Holy Spirit. They're people like you and I. They have to have one fetus to replace themselves. Well, I'm sure it's before 15, maybe 13 when they start. They have to have one fetus in a life support unit above when they're incubating the grays. And then they take the grays. They incubate them at 3 months.
Where do they get the actual gray from, or the Nephilim from? Where does that item come from?
Well, the Nephilim I can't answer. The grays I can. They showed me how they made the grays. They're made. And the grays, what they do, I'm trying to tell you, but you're not listening. They take the grays at 3 months gestation of a fetus. They hook a tube to its brain. And they pump in a radioactive material called plutonium, which I've verified exists, and heavy metals like mercury and other things. That's why they're gray. And DNA from other animals and insects. So you got the rapid growth rate of a fetus. And you got the rapid growth rate caused by cancerous growth rate from the plutonium, where they're combining DNA from other animals and insects like ants. Ants is part of it. And they create the grays. And while this 15-year-old clone girl, and she's a little girl, they got her hooked to life support. And she's dying while they're pumping this shit into her, and that's why they got her hooked to life support. And it's fucking horrendous. It's and while she's incubating this thing, at 6 months they hook this tube to its brain called a phlebotomy, fully linked android brain, and pumping this radioactive material and DNA and all that shit, heavy metals. And then at 6 months gestation, they do what they call a sectiotomy, where they cut it out. And they say the reason they cut it out at 6 months gestation is because if they did not cut it out, it would eat its way out of the host, and it and the host would soon die. So they cut it out at 6 months. And the host dies. And the little 15-year-old girl. And it's got like 3 rows of teeth in it. We're talking about the typical gray. It's got like 3 rows of teeth in it, like an undersea creature. And they put it in a nursery unit, and they take a red-hot knife, and they castrate it. And the reason they're all males is because they're pumping in heavy metals, diseases, and viruses, and they're walking biological weapons. And the reason they're all males, if they were females and they had a vagina, it would be leaking a biological weapon all the time, and nobody could be around. So they're all males, and they castrate it with a red-hot knife, and they stick a bottle of liquid in its mouth, which is blood left over from the host, like a baby bottle. And the screech these things make would burst your eardrums. If you were to go into a nursery, you got to wear wax ear protectors that are melted that go into your ears and special ear protectors over it. Otherwise, your eardrums would be burst.
Is that because it's a high-frequency screech?
Yes. You've heard of this before, sir?
I'm familiar with it somehow.
Well, yeah, I'm only telling you, I've only seen it once. You know, what you're telling me, I don't know. I've never heard of you before, sir. And so they took me out of this unit. And this is in 1903 when they took me there. Well, let me go back and let me explain the routine. They took me into Area 51, sublevel 1.1. I'm wearing a general's uniform. I got 2 Air Force guards on me and 4 Area 51 scientists, and they were fucking crazy. They had crazy eyes, mass murder eyes, rapists, pedophiles. These guys were fucking nuts. One guy was white as fucking snow. And I looked at him and I said, "How long have you been down here?" He said, "I haven't left this facility for 17 years. And, you know, these are a 1 mile diameter round substructures. 1 mile diameter. 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 and I'm on level 1.1. I got 2 Air Force guards on me and these 4 scientists. As far as you can see, there's 15-year-old girls to infant baby girls. And I go, and the Greys are running around wearing elaborate respirators, lab coats, rubber gloves, and rubber boots. And I go, what the fuck is this? And they go, oh, well, this is a Grey production sub-facility. And I said, what the fuck am I doing here? They said, well, we need more blood. We need more DNA. I go, what's that mean? Oh, we want you to have sex with as many of these clones as possible. I said, what? These little girls? And I go, oh, no, these aren't little girls. These are clones. God didn't create them. We did. I said, you want me to have sex with these little girls? Oh, no, they're not little girls, and they're trained, and they're good at it. We need more DNA. And I said to him, I said, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me and tell me more. They didn't realize what kind of danger they were being around me. And they said, oh, well, these aren't clones. God didn't create them. We did. I said, do people come down here and have sex with these little girls? Oh, yeah, all the time. I said, do you? Oh, yeah, all the time. They're trained. They're good at it. I said, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me and tell me more. And they said, well, this is a totally green substructure. We take the excrement from the clones and we use it to make fertilizer in our hydroponic gardens. I said, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me and tell me more. So they took me down. I was on level 1.1. They took me down to sub-level 21.1. Have you seen those movies, Dr. Moreau's Island and all those genetic mutation shit on TV?
Something like it, yeah.
Well, that's what the fuck was down there. I mean, it was a mile diameter, full of cages, with aisleways where they drive pickup trucks through, and forklifts, full of cages. In this what looked like half lion and half girl said, help me, please come over there and help me. And I, me being innocent to this, well, that wasn't the first time I was experienced with it. The first time I was experienced with it was the Predator mission that they made the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie about. That was real, but it wasn't something from outer space. All right, back to Area 51. And they said, I wouldn't go over there if I were you. And I walked over there, and she's reaching her arm out, going, look like half lion, half girl. Said, help me, please come help me. And when I got close enough to where she could reach me, she reached out and tried to rip my fucking head off and roared like a lion. And these guys are smirking. And I said, what the fuck is going on here? They said, oh, we're carrying on an experiment. I said, for what purpose? To create data. I said, for what fucking purpose? They said, to create data. I said, so what happens when you create enough data? They go, well, the experiment ends. I go, oh, then you mean you turn this whole floor into fertilizer like sub-level 1.1? They go, yes. I said, this take fucking forever because the place is full. And they go, oh, well, we do it very efficiently. We just gas the whole substructure all at once. And I said, oh, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me, tell me more. So they took me to sub-level 5.1. And I'm in the computer iris of this place. It's a semicircular, round section in the middle of this fucking unit. As far as you can see, for a half mile in any direction, are rows of beds of 15-year-old clone girls hooked up to life support, with a cloned little fetus in a jar above the life support unit, hooked to life support. And this was a beehive of them coming in and going out all over the place. Greys taking them here and everywhere. And I asked them, I said, where did the Greys come from? They said, they come from pre-flood man. I said, well, what's that? And they said, well, there's the Mars was a man-inhabited planet that destroyed itself in nuclear war, and there's an asteroid belt beyond Mars, destroyed itself in nuclear war, and that's where all this technology, and pre-flood man, that's where it all came from. And so, well, how do they make the grays? And they said, we hook a tube to its brain, pump in plutonium, radioactive material, DNA, heavy metals, viruses, DNA from other insects. With a rapid growth rate of a fetus and a rapid growth rate of cancer, we create these grays. And we reverse engineered them from the Roswell crash. That's where we got heavy, the grays. That's where we got carbon fiber optics. That's where we got microchips and all that stuff from Roswell. And I said, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me and tell me more. So we walk, this is a mile diameter substructure. We walk a half mile away, and they've got the nursery section. And we had to put in hot wax ear protectors and put on ear protectors and go in there. And the scream that these things made would have burst your eardrums. And they had 3 rows of teeth. And as soon as they popped in there, they castrated them with a red-hot knife and put on a diaper and put in a bottle of red liquid in their mouth. When we got outside, I said, what is that red bottle of liquid? Oh, that's leftover blood from the host. I said, really? I don't have a problem with this right now. Show me and tell me more. And then the guy shoves me on the shoulder and says, Mr. You should be very happy and privileged to see this. I said, why should I be privileged to see this? They said, because you're the top shadow warrior that's ever existed. Your DNA is superior to most people on the planet. We've used your DNA, and all these grays are clones of you. And I said, I don't have a problem with that right now. Show me and tell me more. So then over across the are you here? Do you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm listening.
All right. So a little ways away, there was a 4x8 door, and above it was written in blood red. It said Chucky's Playpen from Hell. And it had a 3x3 safety glass door on an 8x8 door. And I went in and I looked at it, and it was a nursery section for the grays. They were 11 to 18 inches tall, thousands of them running around. And on the left-hand side, they had monkey bars for them. But in the far right corner was leftover host, where they were using it to eat. That was their fucking food. And I look in there, and I said, what's this? Oh, well, this is the nursery section, or this is the toddler section. And I said to him, what the fuck is it? Oh, well, these are the toddlers. This is where they go. I said, what's that over in the corner? Oh, that's a leftover host. That's a food for it. It's laying on the ground. It's food. And there's got a camera on the other side of the door doing a 180. It's a semicircular room, half mile out. And I said, hey, guys, I have not seen what I look like on camera for a long time. I said, and the guy had a clipboard computer that he could control the whole remote facility from. And I said, can you control that camera from your computer? Oh, yeah. I said, focus it on the window. I haven't seen what I look like on camera for a long time. And they focused on it. I said, hey, I look pretty good, don't I? Yeah, you look pretty good. And I'm looking in the window, and I said, I thought you said these things were asexual. You castrated them all. They said, yes, we did. I said, I see a little penis on one. They go, where? And all the scientists are coordinating in front of this front window. I said, no, he's over in the corner. So they turn the keys, and they open the door. When they opened the door, it had a 6-foot semicircular stainless pad on the other side. And it was electrified. And they're wearing boots above their knees. Because if these things were to scratch you and bite you, they're walking biological weapons. You would die a more painful, quick death than from being bitten by a Komodo dragon. So the alarm's going off, the lights are going off, and they're all crowded in there. And I shoved all 4 scientists in the fucking door. I slammed the door shut behind them. And one scientist had a key in the outside door. There was no keypad on the inside of the door. I slammed it shut, and I took out both Air Force guards by crushing their larynxes. And All the scientists are banging on the window. Please, please, please let us out. I said, I'll let out the other guy with the fucking keys. So when they opened the door, I pulled the guy out with the keys, and I floored both the other three. I said, give me the fucking keys. He hands me the keys. I nailed his ass, knocked him on the ground, opened the door, and threw his ass in. And he said, I thought you said I was going to let you out. I said, I did say I was going to let you out. I didn't say I was going to throw you back in. I said, don't worry about a thing. Oh, because they told me they were my clones. And they said, God didn't make them. They made them. And I said, don't worry about a thing. You can have lunch with my baby brothers. They won't harm you because God didn't create them. You did. So I threw his ass in. And then I took the key on the door and I snapped his ass off. And then I run a half mile later to the computer center. And I hit the master alarm when I got there. And I said, hurry, hurry, please. There's been a horrible accident on sublevel 5.1. Send everybody. So they sent down 21 scientists, 2 Air Force guards, and one of the 6'6" Nephilim. You know, the ones you've heard about with the football-shaped heads?
Yeah. I'd like if you can describe that more.
Well, you know, it's got a football-shaped head, like the points are out on the ears. You know, the ones they described in Israel? Have you read about it?
Well, for the purposes of this, could you describe it?
Well, I'm trained never to look at anyone's face because I'm a killer. But it had ears out on the points. It's like a football head that's sitting on top of someone's head with ears out on the points. And a mouth and a nose. Other than that, I can't tell you. They were grayish-green. Like the grays are gray because of the heavy metals that they pump in them from the phlebotomy. What they create when they create a gray is a biological computer. And if a gray wants to download information, a lot of information from one gray to another, they touch foreheads like an ant. And they have ant DNA. And if they want to unload, and their biological computers, they can do the most incredible, intricate brain surgery operations you can have, but they cannot critically think to invent. That's their problem, because they're biological computers. And they take all these heavy metals that attach to the genes and proteins at a nanotechnology level and make nanotechnology circuit boards. Any other questions, sir?
What's the ultimate use of the greys? There's a lot of effort to make these beings. Why use it? What's their function?
They're biological computers. They can do the most intricate surgery or technology in the world, but they cannot critically think. They cannot invent. Only you and I can invent. Only man can invent. They can't invent, but they can do the most intricate, detailed anything.
But where?
That's known to me. What?
Where?
Area 51 and the other places like it.
Where are the other places like it?
Well, you know, are you familiar with the anti-gravity devices?
I'm familiar with anti-gravity types of technology, but where would we use them?
Wherever they have them. You know, okay, I have a theory on those. Anti-gravity devices can only operate because the minerals that are required to make them work are too far in the center of the Earth or pre-world Earth, and we don't have them. They're cross-dimensional devices. The inside of the device is at one dimension, the outside is at another, and the reality is another. And the reason you've had so many stories of, aliens morphing to clowns, walking through walls is because they're cross-dimensional. They can land outside of a building, and because they're cross-dimensional, they can walk through walls while they got the generator going. Just like the Philadelphia experiment, which was real.
So how does the generator work?
Tesla was the one who used the Philadelphia experiment. And had B-2 stealth bomber, not B-2, but B-1 stealth bombers, which I've been in. When the generator works, you're in another dimension. But it messes with you to the point, it creates an instant migraine, and if you're around it too long, it will kill you. Other than that, I don't know. I've been around them. I've been in aircraft with them. But if you're around those generators too long, like the Philadelphia experiment, which I'm sure you've seen the movie and stories about, it will kill you.
What length of time is too long?
Minutes.
So how do they fly them? How do they use them?
I don't. It's Tesla designed it. Tesla was so far above Einstein and everyone else. Tesla designed it. How it works, I don't know. If I know, I don't remember. I'm a mind control victim. I don't remember everything.
Was it related to the Glock, the bell?
The what?
The Nazi bell. It disappeared. It seemed to do something similar. The Germans had?
I'm not, sir, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
I mean, are you familiar with Lieutenant Colonel S.C. Greg Grinchuk?
I'm not that familiar, but do describe him and his work.
He did a lot of shows on the Daniel Lott Show. Him and I did a lot of shit together. In 2008, I went up to North Carolina to see him. And he had one of the 187 CIA super laptops. And he showed me shit on there. You know, the tunnel making equipment where they make the tunnels in the mantle. They make 5.5 miles of tunnel a day with Air Force laser equipment. And it wasn't until he showed me pictures of the graves that my repressed memories came back. And let me tell you something. I had many nervous breakdowns from that. Remember in 2008 when the Vatican said, well, if there's any extraterrestrials, we will acknowledge them and teach them Jesus Christ. Remember that?
Yeah. Make them into good
Catholics.
Catholics.
That was because of my memories. I'm sorry?
Make them into a good Catholic.
You're a good Catholic?
No, but they would make the aliens into a good Catholic.
Right. That was because of my memories. Do you remember in October of 2007 where there were rumors all over the internet that somebody tried to kill Pope Benedict?
Yeah.
All right. I'm the guy that got him warned. And it was at the End Zone Bar in St. Augustine, Florida. In St. Johns County. St. John wrote Revelation. And it was a series of events. I put it together. The next day, the Vatican sent the miracle unit to meet with me to see how it was revealed to me to warn Pope Benedict. They determined it was a miracle. I already knew it. And the Malachi prophecy, I didn't know this for 6 months, prophesied that Pope Benedict was to be known as the assassinated Pope. And when I got Pope Benedict warned, they took the information that I warned him and they ran it through the Bible code software. And the information they got back was the Malachi prophecy of his assassination was averted because of my warning. And my name, all my operational names are in the Bible code. Now, I'm not bragging and saying I'm anything great. I'm just a man like you. But I'm the guy who did it.
But you must have unique properties which have brought you to that position.
I'm sorry?
You must have something very unique in time to have been brought.
Do you want to know what they think? You want to know what one of my operational names were?
Tell us.
They called me one of the two witnesses. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The first time Obama paid me a visit was 1st of March of 2008. And the reason he paid me a visit was because my warning saved Pope Benedict. All right. Some miraculous things happened when I visited it. And I'm not going to tell you what they are. And there is a God above. I've seen miraculous things happen. And when God decides to show up, there's a circus on your hands. Well, do you remember when Obama was going to be in Jacksonville on June 21st, 2008 to meet Bill Clinton at the Bears conference in Miami?
I don't recall, but tell us more, please.
Are you recording this? Because I don't want this to hit the air. I don't care if you record it.
I'm recording it.
But it's not to hit the air unless I give you permission. Do we have that agreement?
We have that agreement.
All right, that's fine. And I had a strong feeling I was going to get a visit the wee hours of the morning. And because the Gambino crime family tried to kill Obama 4 to 5 times prior to this, that I knew of. And in 1st of March of 2008, when I found out about it, I created an affidavit. And I listed the Secret Service agent in charge of the Sonny Bono assassination. And I told how he died. And the other thing that this guy from Montana told me. I created an affidavit, took it to Congressman Micah's office in St. Augustine, Florida, demanded he send it to Washington. Within an hour, I had a visit from somebody thanking me for taking the heat off of candidate Obama. Because anybody in special operations have GPS monitor, pet detector, microchip, locator beacons. They know where we're at 24/7. They cannot lose us. And everybody in special operations has multiple ones, and we will not know when they gave them to us because they're not going to tell us. If they have to gas a unit and give them to you, you're not going to know you have them. So anyway, on June 21st, 2008, a little after 1 in the morning, Secret Service agents came into my home, had keys to my home, and woke my ass up. And they take me at the front of my house, and there's a black Lincoln limo with suicide doors on it in front of my driveway with about 40 to 50 Secret Service Suburbans behind it. And candidate Obama's on the driver's side. I'm on the passenger side. He waves his arm. He goes, Mr. And I point to the tree line 120 yards from my front door. And I said, there's possible threat at the tree line. They go, what? I said, there's a possible threat at the tree line. And it comes across the Secret Service radio. He said he's the threat. So the agent to my left takes his 41 caliber weapon, points it to my temple, and tells me to stay still. And I took the weapon away from him, and I dropped him. And it comes across the radio. He's got a weapon. Multiple rounds are being fired at me. Obama screams, drop the gun. I dropped the gun. And they're rushing me to gang tackle me, and I'm slinging them to the ground like rag dolls. And Obama screams, Miss cease. Are you a threat to me? I said, no, there's a possible threat at the tree line. If I can figure out there's a threat to you, so can the bad guys. Because they tried to kill him 5 times prior to this. And he goes, so this is about my safety? I go, yes. And he yells at the Secret Service agents. He goes, you're all fired. And then he sticks his head out the left side of the door. And I screamed to the guy sitting next to him. I said, put Obama on the floor and shield him with your body. And there was a G.I. Jane sitting next to his right. And I said, Linda, get on the fucking floor. And they did. And I said, give me an armored Suburban on this side of the limo. Send 3 more Suburbans towards that tree line. More Suburbans down the tree line in the parallel field behind the tree line in the library, and more down the parallel field behind the library. beyond the library. Engines are screaming, rubber is burning out, and as they approach the tree line, it comes across the radio. We got movement in the tree line. A lot of fucking gunfire is going off, and I'm screaming, shoot the maim, capture those personnel. And they captured 3 Delta Force snipers in the fucking tree line. And I demanded an M4. They gave me one. 8 slings of ammo, 41 caliber strap-on Velcro belt, and I said, send 2 agents down to the John Deere tractor yard. I said to the laptop tech, and every Secret Service contingent has a SATCOM tech that can give you satellite directional capability. I said to the SATCOM tech, ComTech, I said, give me eye in the sky download capability, and he said, we're locked out. I go, what? He goes, we're locked out. I said, give me some fucking communication gear. They gave me some communication gear. I said, give me Governor Charlie Crist. And I declared a state of emergency. And that's why Governor Charlie Crist, who is a Republican, is now a Democrat. This is his payoff. Are you there, sir?
Yep.
And I declared a state of emergency. He says, who's making this call? I said, KA Force Recon Lieutenant General Boyle T. Browning. He says, this call for real? I said, Canada Obama. And you can't fake Barack's voice. He said, Charlie, this is Barack. He says, this call for real? I said, we don't have time for the niceties. I said, we got a state of emergency. We got a superior for military force nearby. I said, I need temporary command at Florida Air National Guard. Chris said, as long as you keep me in the loop, you're in command. And I said, you got it, Governor Chris. And as we're talking, we hear M16 fire going off in the John Deere tractor yard. We knew those 2 agents were dead because they jumped the fence with 41 caliber sidearms. I sent 15 men over that fence with rifles, and I was on the horn with NORAD and declared a state of emergency. And NORAD went through my voice recognition, my code words, my operational names, every fucking thing. Verified who the fuck I was. And I declared a state of emergency. He said, what are your orders? I said, declare DEFCON 2.75. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope. Not the 0.75.
Well, there's levels between 3 and 2. Let me tell you, there's many levels between 2 and 2. That means all hardened silos are ready to launch, ready to fuel, and all subs are ready to launch. That's 2.75. And let's see what happened next. There's so much shit that happened. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Take your time.
Fuck. It's kind of emotional right here, going back to this.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
A lot of people die.
It's good to be emotional. It's good to have emotions.
Anyway, I was on the horn with NORAD, and Obama comes up behind me, and he goes, we got Florida Air National Guard. You're going too far. I said, return the limo. Area is unsecure. And I'm armed to the fucking teeth. And he goes, he's arguing with me. I said, return to the limo. Area is unsecure. And he's still arguing with me. I said, Secret Service, return Canada Obama to the fucking limo. They picked him up and slammed his ass down in a back seat of the limo with a suicide door. And I came up to him, I said, motherfucker, you don't get out of that fucking seat until the least ranking Secret Service agent gives you fucking permission. He was pissed. And I smoked. But every time he lit a cigarette for me, he'd light it, have it in his mouth, and hand it to me. Right? You know?
Yep.
So I did that. And we hear M16 fire going off in the tractor yard. We knew those agents were dead. So I sent 15 men over the fence with rifles. Shortly thereafter, while I'm on the horn with NORAD, 5 guys wearing military body armor and all that, go running in through my backyard, south of Hales Market, and I dropped all 5 with the M4. And I got 2 agents to volunteer to strip them from weapons and ammo, because I lost 2 agents there. I wasn't going to order anybody to do shit. I got 2 agents to volunteer, a female agent and a male agent. They went out there. And the female agent, while they're stripping them of weapons and ammo, there's a wooded lot across the street. They said there's enemy across the street. She starts firing her 41 caliber sidearm into it. They opened up with a squad automatic weapon and a 240 Golf and took them down. And I said, open all police channels, and I declared officer down. And fucking, you talk about dead air time. And they said, what officers are down? And I said, Canada Obama Secret Service detail. They said, who's making this call? I said, AK Force Recon Lieutenant General Boyd Browning. Some officer came on and saying I was a fraud. And Governor Charlie Crist chimes in. He said, this is Governor Charlie Crist. I've declared a statewide state of emergency, whatever Mr. gets. He knew he was out of his fucking element, and whatever the fuck I wanted was it. And St. Johns County Sheriff Department started arguing with him, saying, well, how do we know this isn't a fraudulent call? They said, we got an officer en route. And in combat, you can't tell time. Time is surreal.
Yeah.
Time is like Twilight Zone. And it could have only been 10 minutes for that cop to get there, but it seemed like hours. And when he got there, and St. Johns County Sheriff Department started describing me as, they said, who's making this call? And they said, well, we're getting multiple counts of gunfire going off in Hastings, Battle of Hastings. And they said, do you have a weapon? I said, yes, I have an M4. Well, it's illegal for you to have an M4. I said, take it up with the Secret Service. They gave it to me. And I'm firing at the machine gun nest. And they started describing me as the suspect. And Governor Charlie Crist was fucking livid. And they said, whatever, Governor Crist. And they said, we don't believe this is a governor, and blah, blah, blah. They sent an officer on its way, describing me as the suspect. And I did a Mayday call. And I said, Pulaski County Sheriff. And they said, no, this is Pulaski's a town. Putnam County's the county. And they said, this is Putnam County Sheriff. And I said, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. We have officers down. They said, how many officers do you have down? I said, I got 2 dead in the John Deere tractor yard and 2 bleeding out in my backyard. And I said, scratch that. I said, we got 2 dead in the John Deere tractor yard, and we got a female and male agent bleeding out my back fucking yard. She goes, you got a female agent? I go, yes, I do. She goes, I believe you. I got to call into the sheriff. Hang on a second. She said, it'll be the St. Johns County deputy will get there before you. And, because our deputy's on the other side of the county. So he got there. Seemed like fucking forever. And I'm waving him off. He's pulling up in front of the fucking machine gun this. And I'm waving off. I'm screaming at him, pull back. You're in a line of fire, line of fire, line of fire. He says, and I was only wearing a black pair of gym shorts. No shoes, no shirt. 8 slings of ammo, 41 caliber sidearm, Velcro belt. I mean, I look like Tarzan armed to the teeth. And he says, he's waving me off. He says, there's bodies all over the place. And he pulls up in front of the machine gun nest. He says, I'm pulling up in front of the alleged machine gun nest. And they opened up on him with a 240 Golf and the squad automatic weapon. He goes, I'm taking fire, taking fire, taking fire. And he backs up. The engine's on fire. I said, I will provide covering fire for you. When you exit the vehicle, don't run in a straight line and hit the dirt several times and run towards what. And he also said, I saw the Secret Service Suburbans. There are like 50 of them with their lights on. It was a fucking mess. God.
But you were not taking hits.
They were shooting at me.
Yeah, but the bullets weren't getting there.
Listen, the bullets, you don't know that. I've experienced miraculous things. I don't know if they were getting there or not. They didn't kill me. I'll put it that way.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
And then I got on the horn with NORAD, and the Secret Service agents and John Deere Tractor Line says, we got to talk to you on the scrambled line. I said, I ain't got time for this shit. We got a battle to fight. There's a superior force nearby. We got to fucking find it. And they said, we got to talk to you on the scrambled line. It's imperative. And I turned to Comtech. I says, can you keep NORAD and Governor Christ on the line with that? And they go, yes, we can. Oh, but when I first got on the line with NORAD, I told them, I said, you'll bring Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid up to speed without the president. And they go, we got to follow protocol. We got to follow protocol. We got to bring the president on the line. I said, you will bring Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid on the line without the president. We can't do that. I said, if you do that, I'm going to order an airstrike in Elgin Air Force Base by Florida Air National Guard. You back me up on that, Governor Christ? And Governor Charlie Crist said, whatever, Mr. So they put the president on. And they said, why should we put the president on hold? I said, because the president is fucking complicit. You can't do this shit without the president. So they put him on hold because we were going to put Florida Air National Guard was going to do an airstrike on Elgin Air Force Base or Eglin. I mean, the shit that went down that fucking night. So they put them on hold till we broke Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid up to speed. And then once we brought them up to speed, when they brought George Bush Jr. online, he goes, this is President George Bush Jr. Who declared DEFCON 2? Who declared DEFCON 2? I said, that'd be me, Mr. fucking President. And Nancy Pelosi immediately tore into him, and she goes, George, what the fuck did you do this time? He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Every time I busted him on shit that he was in on, he didn't know what the fuck we were talking about. And, I mean, it was fucking pandemonium where we were. It was pandemonium at NORAD. It was fucking pandemonium. It never happened before and will never happen again.
It's almost comedy.
It was.
If it wasn't so deadly and serious.
Total global thermonuclear war? What the fuck more serious can you get than that? The bottom line was this. George Bush Jr. had made a deal with China for defaulted debt of $9 trillion to hand the nation over to China for defaulted debt. There were 4.6 million Chinese troops scattered around the United States, armed and supplies buried all over the fucking place, and 2.6 million in northern Canada and remote locations, 5.5 million in northern Mexico, several hundred stripped down Chinese civilian aircraft with several thousand Chinese troops on it, headed to every major fucking U.S. airport. Bush was going to hand the whole fucking nation to China for defaulted debt. And it almost fucking happened. And he was going to do it by killing Barack Obama. Remember when he tried to declare martial law in 2008? Do you remember that?
Okay, yeah.
This was the fucking reason. He was stripped of his presidency on June 21st, 2008. And what was the mechanism at which they stripped him? It was the 28th Classified Amendment of Total Protocol Override, the ability to strip a rogue president of his authority or a rogue government created by Reagan on 12/6/86. And who is Total Protocol Override? It's and no one else can be it. Set in place by classified law, set in place like the 16th Amendment by the Supreme Court, the President, the head of the Senate, and the head of the House. And no one else can be it but me, period. And they fucking sold that Obama piece of shit, sold my ass out. I was arrested and jailed for 6 years on Trump lies and bullshit on December 10th of 2000 and sat in fucking jail for 6 years.
But you saved his life. What the hell went on there?
He is a fucking piece of human shit. Him and Michelle were Illuminati. I had to fight a death match between the Federal Reserve and the World Bank deathmatch champions to remove them from the Illuminati, to get them out, and that piece of shit sold me out. Because one of the provisions of the 28th Amendment of the Constitution of Total Protocol Override is I must get full military recognition and full benefits, and that piece of shit Obama sold me out. Any questions, sir?
I would get annoyed about that.
What?
I would get annoyed about that.
You think I'm happy?
Nope.
I spent 6 years in fucking jail. I mean, I'm a victim of MK Ultra Operation Monarch. They use my children as sex toys for their shit. They have abused my children more than any children in history because they think I'm one of the fucking two witnesses. Have you heard much about all these pieces of shit dropping dead of pancreatic cancer? I've been praying for that shit for 17 years. I've been told that there's thousands dying of it, dead and dying of it, because of my prayers by Obama and other people.
In what way? Through chemtrails or what?
No, God above. Have you recently heard about people dying of blocked bowels?
I've heard of people who are getting conditions a bit like that in some way.
Recently?
Well, it just could have been. I mean, a colleague of mine's friend died of something like that, but that just could be ordinary natural causes. Or
Was he Illuminati?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm pretty sure that. I mean, it just could be an ordinary medical issue, but a couple of people I know have had that problem in some way or another.
Recently.
No, not recently. I mean, in the last few years.
Well, I'm talking about recently, the last few months.
Only a friend, but I mean, she'd just be an ordinary friend of a friend. That's all. Just probably only a medical thing.
Yeah, right. And God never does anything to evil people. You think there aren't evil people around you that you don't know about?
I'd be pretty sure there are, and try to spot them. As they say, keep your friends close.
What percent of the population do you think that are devil worshippers?
I would say there's quite a large proportion.
Give me a percent.
I would say it's not too far below the surface of the sweet innocent world we live in that there are these people in large numbers.
30% at the low end?
I'd say in excess of 50%.
I've been told with people the highest national security clearances possible that the low end of devil worshippers is 30% of the population. The high end is 50%.
Yeah, well, in the UK, I'd say it's possibly higher.
That's true. I don't live in the UK. I live in fucked up America. Do you have any questions for me? Do you think anything I'm telling you here tonight is bullshit?
I don't think any of it's bullshit. But what I want to know is what I mean. Recording this since we switched calls.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
As long as you keep my name out of it, I don't give a shit.
Well, what do you wish me to do? I mean, I could write a book on this later.
I want to fucking light the world on fucking fire. You want to do some radio shows, some YouTube videos,
yes,
whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do. I'll give you my operational names, but my real name has to stay out of it.
Okay. Well, let's do it. That's not fun.
I imagine you're going to make something out of what I just said tonight to be edited out.
Okay.
You can use anything else I said, but my real name has to stay out. But I would prefer, this is what I would prefer, sir.
Okay, let's do what you prefer.
You know, they have tried to kill me hundreds of times. The only reason I'm alive today is God above. I mean, they've used attack animals on. They've tried everything on me. They tried to throw me in a wood chipper. They've tried everything. 3 a.m. here.
Yes, 8 o'clock here.
Okay, I want you to understand something. I was attacked this week. They have sent, the United States military has sent a whole army of people to say I'm a liar and a fraud. And this week they did it again.
Well, as soon as you wish to do it, when do you want to do that? Do you want to rest, or do you want
as soon as fucking possible. My opinion is this. Do you think Trump's Illuminati?
I understand he's not cabal.
He's not what?
He's not part of the cabal.
I've heard from sources that McConnell's trying to impeach him. McConnell's an evil motherfucker. He tried to have me. McConnell has tried to have me killed. He's tried to have me killed numerous times. I'm still alive. They have 4 different times they sixed attack animals on me, and each time the animals turned on their handlers. That's God above. I'm just a man.
That's good.
They have tried everything. I've been poisoned. They've had SWAT teams show up and point weapons at me and pull triggers, and nothing happens. They've tried every fucking thing. I fought death match after death match on their champions trying to take my ass out. I'm still alive. We'll give God the credit. The only one I'll say I was better at, I am a world-class knife fighter. I took his ass out. The other edge weapons, we'll give God the credit. We're talking samurai swords, foil, rapier, cutlass, broadsword, and knife. I mean, I fought Roman Greco, Kung Fu, Capoeiro, Samurai, Sumo, all those guys. They've sent them all at me multiple times. I'm still alive.
Okay, in the event that for some reason we're not able to reconnect in a couple of hours, is there anything you want to say now in the event that we are not for some reason able to connect?
Now listen, God saved me. You know what I need to get from you is your phone number. You know, I'm very surprised that you got my email, because they've been fucking with me so much lately. Maybe I got some people on my side that are working for me.
Well, they're certainly messing with me as well, so we share that to some extent.
Who's working for you?
Well, I should have been doing a job today, but I had that pulled, so I've got other things to do, so let's make it count.
The guys that I think might be working for me is the labor mafia. What do you know about them?
Not familiar with that.
Do you know who's really running the world?
Well, the Illuminati and the non-visible ones.
Do you know who's above them? Do you know who's above them?
The invisible ones. If you can see them,
What?
If you can see them, they're not running it. Somebody else. The Nephilim.
No, it's not the Nephilim. It's the Gambino crime family.
They're the instruments of whatever's in charge. Is that a mafia?
Corporate mafia.
Yeah.
Corporate mafia. Gambino crime family runs it. They're above the Illuminati. They're above the Jesuits. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
You do now.
So what do they have that's special?
Technically, I'm a soul. Huh?
What do they that have that's special that gives them that ability to be above all those others?
Because the Illuminati hired them to be their muscle, and the muscle got too big and it took over.
But
because they're the muscle.
Like a good old mafia tactic, as old as the hills.
Well, they do business with everybody. Everything is the way these bad guys run the world. It's by committee. There's no one person that says, "Oh, I'm in charge." Now, John Gotti Jr. is the head one, but there's a committee that runs things. They don't run by saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that." They get together and they have a meeting.
It's obviously a very stable form of running business. Business is business, as they say.
Right. You got it. Technically, I'm a soldier of the Genovese. I'm a hitman.
Yeah.
Big time hitman. I was George Bush Sr.'s favorite.
Well, I have to ask the question, what happened to George Bush Jr. then?
He's a piece of shit. He was stripped of his presidency by total protocol override on 6/21/08 by me. He was going to hand the whole nation over to China for defaulted debt. And as evidence of what I'm telling you, neither George Bush Sr. or George Bush Jr. were at the 08, 2012, or the 2016 Republican convention. That's never happened in the history of America. Now, you can go back in 2008 and watch a televised speech of Jr. from Crawford, Texas, where his wife is introducing him, and she's had a nervous breakdown. You remember the big boys pulled their money out of the United States on June 19th and 20th of 2008. Remember that?
I wasn't across the financial markets at the time, but tell us more.
That's because the United States was supposed to end as a nation on June 21st, 2008. Have you ever seen those videos of those prison camps around the United States?
Yes, yeah.
In remote locations?
Yeah.
Well, that would have been the fate of the American people when the United States handed the country of the United States over to China for defaulted debt. Bush Jr. tried to have one candidate, Barack Obama, assassinated and then declare martial law and request UN troops to maintain order in the United States cities, because all our troops were in Afghanistan and Iraq, and declare martial law. And he was fucking stopped by God above. He was stripped of his presidency, and if you watch him when he went to China in the 08 Beijing Olympics, you can see where he got in front of the premier of China, and he was scared shitless, and the premier of China was pissed off. This is all evidence of what I'm telling you.
But they had to keep up appearances.
This is why the financial crisis hit the United States harder than any other nation in '08. Because the nation was supposed to end on June 21st, 2008. And according to biblical prophecy, this nation ends at the hands of the United States of Europe. But these are a bunch of Illuminati Satanists, and they want the nation to end at Satan's hands and his decision, and it ain't China.
Well, we got a problem then. We got a problem.
Any question?
Well, how do we deal with the Satanists? How do we deal with that situation? What needs to be done?
Support President Trump.
Well, he's got my vote if I could give it to him.
You know, let me tell you something. The United States was $9 trillion in debt on June 21st, 2008. The debt was satisfied for high crimes and treason on June 21st, 2008. And you can check this by German media and every media around the world but the United States. Every nation that owed the United States money from World War I on had to pay up with interest, penalties, and a 15% profit margin to the United States Treasury, or we were going to blow up the fucking world. Every nation that had enough currency to destroy the United States economy had to return it. It was counted, verified, and destroyed. We were going to blow up the fucking world. You know who issued the fucking orders?
No.
Any guess?
Obama?
Me. Me. I am total protocol override. The only person that can be it. Granted by President Reagan, 28th classified constitutional amendment. And that piece of shit Obama sold me out. Remember all those satellites that were crashing into each other in outer space in 2000 and 2009?
Yeah.
2009? We shot down 2,000 to 3,000 satellites at my orders.
Those surveillance satellites or spy satellites, what type of satellites were they?
It didn't make a difference. We shot them down. Satellite communication didn't make a fucking difference. We shot them down. If they shot one of ours down, we shot down 10 of theirs.
Yeah, there were one or two satellite collision incident problems.
I'm sorry?
There were one or two satellite collision incident problems that they mentioned in the newspapers.
Satellite collision, we shot them down. They shot some of ours down. We shot down 10 of theirs. And that includes Britain.
The Skynet system?
Britain was in on trying to take the United States down, too.
Was that because they were told to? Otherwise, they just...
I don't know.
Like a lapdog?
They were in on it. I don't know. They were in on it.
Okay,
we were about to go to war with Britain, Australia, and New Zealand. We were about to. Remember when Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, and there was an incident in northern Norway. Some kind of event happened the day before.
Oh, yeah, big fucking incident. We sunk several of their subs. The reason they gave Obama the Nobel Peace Prize is we were about to blow the fuck out of the Nordic Alliance. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Holland.
Well,
we were about to fucking blow them out of the fucking water. And they decided, oh, well, we'll give Obama the Nobel Peace Prize as a peace offering.
But what was that incident in the sky in northern Norway?
They sent several civilian aircraft with nuclear devices on them towards the United States. You say it's northern Norway. I'm the one that called it in. I'm the one that issued the order. What happened? I don't know. We'll give God the credit. Because they didn't tell me the details. I just call in the warning, and it happened. Remember the 3 incidences where the United States computer system almost crashed?
I'm not entirely familiar on the dates. Tell me.
You heard of it?
Yeah.
I called the warning in one time 4 seconds, one time 6 seconds, and one time 10 seconds before it happened. Don't tell me how I know it to call it in. I just fucking called it in. Said cyber attack protocols. 4 seconds, 6 seconds, and 10 seconds. It just came to me. That ain't me. I'm just a man. I'm just like you. I'm nothing special. You think I'm telling you shit on this?
No. You there?
Miles, you back?
Yeah.
Okay, if we do a radio show or something on this, I'm giving you more of the big picture.
Okay, yeah.
But because if we tell too much of the truth of what's really been happening, people will think we're fucking nuts.
Yeah, it has to be. I understand that.
And even though you're recording this, I'm going to ask you, don't put it on the air unless you and I do it live. I don't care if you're recording it.
Okay.
I want it recorded.
Yeah, well, it's always important to have these things. But
look, I'm dead. You know, they've tried to kill me so many times. Last time was 7 years ago. They locked me up for 6 years on trumped up lies and bullshit. Because I wouldn't shut my fucking mouth. They couldn't kill me, so they locked me up. And that piece of shit, Obama, was fine with it. After I saved his life. And for him and Michelle to get out of the Illuminati, I was requested. And I did. I fought the death match between the Federal Reserve and the World Bank death match Illuminati champions. And the World Bank, or the Federal Reserve guy, was a British guy, about 30 years old. He didn't last very long. The World Bank guy was a South African, about 5'11", 4 foot wide, a steroid monster, tattooed and body pierced from head to toe. But let me tell you something. When I was fighting the World Bank guy, let's just say God showed up. Miraculous things started happening. I'm not going to tell you what happened because it was unbelievable. But when God shows up and to show mankind who's got the real power, you have a circus on your hands. The guy upstairs has got a sense of humor. And from our point of view, it's a very gruesome one. But when he's dealing with the evil people, I have to give him credit for that. When he decides to show up and show mankind who's got the real power, you've got Samson killing 1,000 with the jawbone of an ass and Daniel in the lion's den all into one, and they had it on film. And when I was fighting the World Bank guy, let's just say God showed up. And it was a circus. And I'm not the only one that saw it. I've talked to many people who saw the video feed. Because it was recorded and fed to all the bad guys around the world, like many of the death matches I fought. Or basically all of them. I mean, did you see anything in October of 2007 where they tried to kill Pope Benedict?
You mentioned something about that earlier, but I didn't see. Apart from
you didn't see it on the internet.
I saw there was something about that. Yeah.
Well, I'm the guy that got him warned. He'd have been dead a half hour later. The Vatican has a miracle unit, and if they hear of a miracle happening anywhere in the world, they will send the miracle unit to go investigate to see if it was a miracle from God. The next morning, I was met by the miracle unit. I spent 15 minutes with them, and they determined it was a miracle by God. After I got him warned, the Malachi prophecy, the most famous Catholic prophecy, are you familiar with it?
No, I'm not, but from the point of view of... It's always
Look it up
yeah.
on the internet. According to the Malachi prophecy, Pope Benedict was known as the Olivet One. And the Benedictines were known... Pope Benedict was born in 1095 in Ireland. And he was known for having the gift of healing and prophecy. And the Benedictine monks were known as the Men of the Olives, hence the name the Olivetan One. And Pope Benedict was prophesied to be the assassinated pope. When I got him warned, they ran it through the Bible Code software. Are you familiar with the Bible Code, sir?
Yes, I am.
They ran it through the Bible Code software, and the information they got back was the Malachi prophecy was averted because of my warning. This is really big shit. And I'm not bragging, but I'm just a guy who got him warned. And I didn't know about it for 6 months later after I got him warned. And a friend of mine was a Messianic Jewish gal, and I saw that woman get answers from God. Not on big issues, but everyday issues. And somebody sent her these emails on the Vatican in the Malachi prophecy. And I'm reading that shit, and I'm fucking crying, and my hair is standing up on my head. And I was in a head-on collision on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
I should have been killed. And from the time... Well, let me back up to November of 2007. I was in New York meeting with a real person they made the Born Identity series about. It's a woman, not a man. And we had a history together, and I helped train her. She's a MK Ultra victim, just like me. They wiped her memory, and I was helping her getting it back. Well, when I went up there to meet her in New York, her computer expert friend found me Pope Benedict's email address. So I emailed him and told him about my issues and his issues. If they had killed him, how many people had died around the world. Guess who announced he was coming to the United States the next morning? Pope Benedict. Because of my email. And he came to the United States to bitch out Bush because Bush was in on trying to kill him. Illuminati Central. And on St. Patty's Day, March 17th, 2008, I was in a head-on collision. I should have been dead. And from the date of the wreck till the date he came to the United States was 30 days. And I went over to Roz's house, and I thought, well, Pope Benedict's birthday is coming up, same time mine is in April, so I looked it up pursuant to Hebrew calendar, because the world really operates by the Hebrew calendar. And he was born on the month of Nisan 14th. Well, I was going to buy a Honda or Toyota to replace my totaled Kia Rio. Last second over the phone, I bought a Nissan Versa. I buy this Versa before I looked at the date. And I go, okay. He was born on Nisan 14th, which is Passover. And I looked up my birthday pursuant to Hebrew calendar. I was born on Nisan 13th. So one day before Pope Benedict turned 30, I was born. From the time of my wreck to the time I came to the United States was 30 days. So I got the number 30 occurring twice. I went to a biblical expert friend of mine, and I said, what's the number 30 mean in the Bible? He goes, it means the blood of Jesus, because Jesus was sold for 30 pieces of silver. And I go, okay. And I bought this Nissan Versa, and I find we're both born in the month of Nisan, Jewish month of Nisan. And I go, okay, well, let me look up the definition of the meaning of the name Versa. It's the mythical derivative of the mythical mother of the Romulus and Remus, the mythical founders of Rome. Another coincidence that doesn't make sense, right?
Well, there's
Do
no
you have any
such thing.
questions?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a coincidence. So something must be running this somehow.
No shit. And then on June 21st, 2008, I saved Barack Obama's life when Bush sent 450 special operations personnel to Hastings, Florida to kill Barack Obama. Think of the Battle of Hastings in 1066 in England.
Yes, yeah.
And a couple weeks later, I rented the movie Vantage Point. And in the movie Vantage Point, you got to... And when I went to go order the Nissan Versa, because I was going to buy a Honda or a Toyota, and I made a deal over the phone last second to buy a Versa. I go in there, I go, give me a dark blue one. They said, no, we can only give you a medium blue. Well, a week after I saved Barack Obama's life, I rent the movie Vantage Point. And it's a movie about assassination attempt of the president over in Spain. Into the movie, they have this huge chase with this Nissan. I think it was a Nissan Versa. It might not have been. But it was a medium blue, just like I had. And had this huge car chase with it. And I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm going, there's no fucking coincidences. A few months later, I watched the movie When We Were Soldiers, which came out in 2003 with Mel Gibson. And there was a point in the battle when I was going on, and I was with NORAD, and your sit rep. And I said, broken arrow, broken arrow, broken arrow. And broken arrow in Vietnam meant send aircraft. Now it means there's a nuke on the ground. But I was a little excited and upset at the time. I did a Vietnam broken arrow. And he goes, what do you mean? There's no nuke on the ground, blah, blah, blah. I said, I need a squadron of Stukas. Okay, we got 6 FA-18s. Okay, modern. And he says, okay, because General Mitchell was a Vietnam vet. And he goes, okay, you were doing the old broken arrow. And 3 months later, when I watched the movie of When We Were Soldiers, and it's a true story. When Mel Gibson's character got to the point where they were being overrun and he declared broken arrow, he goes, Hastings, declare broken arrow. That was the communications officer. And the shit that went down in my house was in Hastings, Florida. And I'm going, there is no fucking coincidences. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to bring somebody on to debunk me, that's fine with me. I mean, if somebody wants to debunk me and say I'm a fraud, hey, that's fucking fine with me. I will tear that man or woman a new asshole.
Let's get the first thing done, and then if there's anybody wants to come up and do a challenge, we can do that on a part 3 or 4 or whatever.
I mean, let me tell you something that might happen to you. Somebody may be threatening to kill you in the next day or two.
Well,
Do you realize that?
I've had 3 attempts already, so
I've had hundreds, more than hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, from the 1st of January of 2008 until June 21st, 2008, Bush Jr. tried to have me killed 47 times.
47 times?
47 times from the 1st of June of 2008 till June 21st, 2008. Bush Jr. tried to have me killed 47 times. I realized this. I realized 16 years ago I was a victim, and 1 year into my recovery, I was told by the top reprogrammers in the United States, psychiatrists and psychologists, that I had more detailed, repressed, recovered memory than any survivor. I don't remember everything, but I remember a lot.
Well, let's establish what the programs are, how it reflects to you, your background, why should people listen to a word you're saying, and then we get you to say what you're going to say. Is that okay?
All right, I'll let you answer ask the questions because
Yeah.
you're a radio guy, you're a media guy, and I'm not.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a break and call back in
All right.
half an hour. Okay.